Hi, I'm Adam, and I'm joined by my colleagues Callum, Addis, and Alex. We'll be talking about why live streams fail during key moments and not during averages. Now, streaming usually performs as expected under steady conditions, but it struggles during short, high-pressure moments, like the start of a game or scoring plays, when workflows are stressed in ways testing doesn't reflect. We're going to be talking about why these moments matter, more than averages, of course, how sports streaming platforms and their live engineering teams can prepare for them in practice. Let's get started. So to get your view on this, when engineering teams go into live sports events feeling confident, what are they usually confident about? And what tends to surprise them once they're in the event, when the event actually starts?
So users and teams are usually very confident in the application that they've put through testing. However, one thing that they often don't anticipate is load, especially when it comes to sports events where users all log on at the same time. It's really important to ensure that your APIs, your authentication servers are all resilient and can fail over when issues occur.
When a key moment happens in a live sports event, what actually changes compared to the rest of the event?
Yeah, I would say the biggest change is actually the viewer behavior. Large amount of audience joining at the same time, seeking to rewatch the key moments and becoming impatient on the stalls or slow startup and restarting the streams, which creates short but extreme spikes in concurrency. And the playback has to react to this. So from the player side, if anything slows down, what we will see more is basically slow startups, rebuffering becomes more likely, and ABR becomes more aggressive.
In real life sports events, where do issues usually show up first? And why don't teams tend to see these issues during testing? What's the factor?
Yeah, it's so most issues during live events tend to manifest themselves in playback. And so it's really like in the player that they become apparent. The reason they're not caught during testing is because it's really difficult to replicate some of the load testing conditions. And so there are some systems where you can load test, simulate essentially, with the experience of having, millions of viewers. But when you have multiple services that are essentially being used at the same time, it is difficult to simulate that type of load testing. And so it's really important for operational teams during events to keep an eye on the health of the live streams. So by using an observability product such as like Bitmovin's observability, for example, you can keep an eye on the playback quality of experience metrics, and those can tell you a lot about the health of the not just the playback system itself, but really all the other systems in the live pipeline. So encoder, origin, CDN, DRM, authentication services, really anything that the player touches.
In practice, how do engineering teams prepare for these key moments without redesigning their entire workflow?
It's really important for operational teams, engineering teams, to have a well-rehearsed operational playbook. So we're talking about checklists of systems that need to be checked, validated before the event. We're talking about having contacts to every partner that the team might be working with. So if they have, for example, a CDN partner, you want to know who to contact if there's issues with the CDN during the event. You don't want to be scrambling, trying to figure out basically who to call at 3 a.m. at some local time, right? And so it's really important that you prepare ahead of time for anything that can go wrong, and that you, like I said, have a well-rehearsed playbook that you can follow when things go wrong.
After everything they've discussed, what's one way teams should change how they think about preparing for live sports events?
Users need to think holistically about their end product. They need to be monitoring their live video chain. They need to be looking at their whole application. Teams should document their whole application and identify single points of failure and ensure that failover is correctly applied. Users should apply monitoring and alerts to ensure that when CPU reaches a certain threshold or the user base reaches a certain threshold, they're aware of it and can plan and change things.
Always expect the unexpected. Make sure to stress test the whole delivery pipeline as a whole, and treat the playback as early warning system of something going wrong. So use the observability and key signals to detect as early as possible if something is going wrong with the viewer experience.
I think there's no such thing as being too prepared. I think sometimes teams, after especially they've done a few events, they start, getting a little relaxed, a little bit, they assume that things will go well because they went well previous time, so they assume that things will go well again. But I think it is important to prepare for every event like it is the most important event, right? And so there is no such thing as being too prepared. There is no over-preparedness.
All right, I want to thank you, Addis, Alex, and Callum for your experiences and sharing your perspectives on the live streaming workflow for live sports.
Of course, thank you.
Thank you, it's my pleasure.
Thanks, Adam. Jonah.